for that I am deeply, deeply sorry. But I would also say to the great people of Virginia that I have never, ever betrayed my sacred oath of office in any way while I have served as the governor of this great Commonwealth. I want to thank the incredible friends, new and old, from around the state and around the country who have lifted me up over these last months and years to give me their love, their support, and their undying kindnesses in telling me they continue to believe in me despite these proceedings. I don't believe that I would be as much able to handle the news of today without the love of so many people around the state. I also want to thank my distinguished team here of Jones Day and Holland and Knight, John Brownlee, Hank Asbill, Tom Shuttleworth, and all the team that's behind me today. They have really been remarkable, and I know they are enthusiastic about the appeal that will be filed here shortly. I also want to thank my family, who have been unbelievably resolute. This has been an extraordinarily difficult time for my children, my wife, my brothers, sisters, cousins, nephews, nieces, many of whom are here in the courtroom today. And they have been beyond loving and forgiving and uplifting in their support for me. And finally, and really most importantly, I want to say that I have immense faith in the justice system, but I have tremendous faith and trust in the providence of the Lord Jesus Christ and his ability to mete out justice, and so that is my hope for ultimate vindication. I know his love never fails, it never gives up, and it's never going to run out on me, and that's what's kept me going, and will keep us focused on a bright hope for a productive future, so I can continue what I've done for 38 years, and that is to serve the people.
Governor, when
Governor,
when you came in today, you were looking at 10.5 to 12 years.
I'm not going to take any questions, so there's no sense starting, okay? So what I'm going to do is my counsel just want to make some brief comments. Let me just say also, I do want to thank you members of the press, many of whom I've known for quite a long time. Many of you have gone out of your way to try to be fair and respectful to my family. I'm very grateful for that. This has been very hard. Being governor is hard by itself, but being governor with these kinds of accusations is difficult, and many of you have gone beyond the call and being gracious to me and my family, and I really thank you for that. John?
Yeah, just want to first of all let you know that it has been and it remains an honor to represent our governor, Bob McDonnell, and we're truly grateful to have the opportunity to represent him. I want to thank Judge Spencer today. You saw a real professional federal judge today who was careful and who looked at Governor McDonnell as a human being and departed from the guidelines significantly from what the government had requested. That being said, we believe in his innocence. We will continue to fight for his innocence. I've looked at these facts. As you know, I served in the Justice Department a long time. I believe that Bob McDonnell is an innocent man, and we will continue to bring this fight to the Court of Appeals. I also want to tell you that it was a real honor to represent Governor McDonnell with Hank Asbill and the great folks at Jones Day and my law firm Holland and Knight. And so tomorrow is another day, and we will continue this fight for this man's innocence.
John, why do you think that the judge went so far out of the sentencing guidelines?
We're not going to answer any questions. I just want to say that sometimes, and particularly in a case like this, justice is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's a lot more to do, a lot more miles to run, and we will keep running them. We will never give up in this case until we achieve true justice for Bob McDonnell. He deserves it, and we are committed to it.
Hank, how quickly can you get Bob McDonnell out of prison? What do you think? What's the fastest you can get him out of prison?
We hope he never goes to prison. So, I mean, if he gets bond pending appeal, he will not have to go to prison if we win the appeal.
When will that be decided, the bond pending?
We've already filed the motion.
We filed the motion, but it may not get through both courts, Judge Spencer and the Circuit Court, until probably the 1st of February. My best guess.
Mr. Apple, was that to be granted, though, how much hope do you have? How much hope do you have that he'll be able to stay out on appeal, since it's somewhat unusual for that to be granted?
We think it's a meritorious request, and you know, I mean, we're hopeful. Obviously, we think it's a meritorious request, and we think he's entitled to be out on appeal. So, I mean, whether or not that happens, I can't predict.
How much do you think there for Maureen McDonnell?
We have confidence that the court will look at this carefully, and so you know, it's back to filing motions and arguing positions, and we're going to continue to do that until what we believe is justice is done. So,
How much do you think Doug Wilder helped today?
I thought Governor Wilder was extraordinary. He is one of the great heroes in American history, in Virginia history. He came in today, and he was literally brilliant. He was probably one of the best witnesses I have ever seen in my 20-plus years in court. And
why didn't you call him during the trial?
And so, you know, for him to come in today at a sentencing like this was just really important and special, and we were grateful for him to come in.
What did it mean when he said, when he was talking about, well, yeah, you got to look at the person who started the bribe, and there was this loud, thunderous applause in that courtroom and also the overflow? What did that indicate? What was the message that was sent to the judge and the people in there on that?
You know, I think Governor Wilder had a really good sense of this case.
But were you applauding too?
I typically don't applaud in court.
What about the letters? It seemed like the judge was moved by what people said. I know you've read many.
I was moved. I had a hard time not crying.
Was that the first time you choked up in court over the years? You're a veteran, brother. You've been there. I mean, how many years have you started almost to cry in court?
You know, weddings, funerals, and sentencings. I cry.
The prosecution said these were crimes of choice, not necessity. What do you say to that?
They weren't crimes. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it very much.
Remarkably touching picture there at the end of the governor patting the head of his daughter, who was obviously distraught at what had happened earlier today. Let's reset if we can. A little more than an hour ago, we first got the word that Governor Bob McDonnell had been sentenced to 2 years in prison for his corruption convictions, a conviction handed down last summer. And then just a little while ago, we heard from the former governor himself, who said he thanked the judge for what he said was displaying mercy. McDonnell also said that he disagreed with the judge's 2-year sentence and said that he will appeal to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. We heard from one of his attorneys that that appeal has already been filed at the Fourth Circuit and also with the judge in this case, but he thought the earliest that that appeal could be at the very least acted upon and heard was probably the 1st of February, and that is very close when Bob McDonnell is supposed to present himself for jail. Getting back to what Bob McDonnell said to reporters just a short time ago, he called himself a fallen human being. He said he had failed in some of the judgments that he had made as governor, but he took responsibility for everything that happened. He thanked his friends and his family and even the news media for the coverage of this. And in what may be the signature statement of this, one of McDonnell's attorneys said, "Justice is sometimes a marathon, it is not a sprint." If Bob McDonnell serves 2 years in prison, that will likely be a shorter period of time than the investigation and prosecution and sentencing of this case will have lasted.